first period math. On Tuesday of last week, I asked you guys to work on this Desmos activity that was called Chance Experiments, and you guys were asked to spin a spinner and decide whether you would win more on red or blue, and you were asked to spin it about 36 times. Today I'm going to take a minute to go over this activity and kind of go over some key things that hopefully you would have gotten or should have gotten, but if you didn't, you will today. If you have not completed this assignment, please pause this video now and go ahead and finish this activity before you start moving any further. Again, about 25 out of the 33 students have completed this. So again, you know who you are if you haven't completed this yet. We're going to go ahead and start with slide 1. So you were told, let's play a game, and here's how it works. You were to decide if you wanted to win when you landed on red or if you wanted to win when you landed on blue. The majority of the class chose win on red. And let's go over a couple of people's explanations. So someone said red covers more of the area, so I think red is the winner. Someone said there's a higher chance that the spinner will land on red, right? Because it looks like more than half of this is red. Some of you brought in some numbers. So someone said, I think red because it has 3/4 of the circle, so we're bringing in some fractions into this. And someone used the idea of percentages and used 75%. So it does look like about 75% or 3/4 of this spinner is red. 3 of you said that I would want to win on blue. So let's check out some of those explanations. So the one that caught my eye is this one from Aristotle. I would say that you should win on blue because it makes it much harder to win and makes it more fun of a game. So someone is really looking for a challenge or looking for there to be more competition, even though red may be easier to win on. Then you were asked on slide 2 to practice. So you were asked to spin the spinner and see what happened. So in your practice results, it looked like 20 students got a win on red and 4 students got a win on blue. So out of the 30 or however many times you tried, say 36 times, right, you were more likely to land on red. But it wasn't certain, right? There still is an opportunity to land on blue, but it's just not a guarantee because again, there is red and there is blue on this spinner. So nothing can be certain. We're going to go ahead and jump to slide 6, where you all were asked to use a slider to figure out how, if it was more likely, certain, equally likely, less likely, or impossible to land on red and also to land on blue. So it looks like if we look at lands on red, the majority of the class, which lies around right here, said that it is more likely. There are some people that said that it is impossible. So we want to be careful with ideas like impossible and certain, because if something is certain, then the whole spinner would have had to be red. So excellent job that nobody picked certain, because that's not true. Whoever decided that it was impossible, that's also not correct, because there is red on the spinner. Right? If this said lands on purple, right, and there isn't any purple on the spinner, then we could choose impossible. But landing on red based off this spinner is more than likely. For lands on blue, some of you picked impossible, where a lot of you picked closer to less than likely. So I would agree with this. Less than likely would be correct, right? Because it's only about 25% of the spinner. Again, for that impossible, it wouldn't necessarily work, right? Because blue is on the spinner. Just because it is smaller than the red portion doesn't make it impossible. It's just not as likely or less likely. So a reminder that probability is always going to be in between 0 and 1. So that means that most of our numbers that we're going to be working with are numbers that are like fractions, decimals, or percents, right? We're not going to go above 1 and we're not going to go into negative numbers. So if something is certain, there's a 100% chance that it's going to happen, and something that is impossible has a 0% chance. Again, for this spinner, landing on red is not a 0% chance. Same with landing on blue. It's not a 0% impossible idea, right? So we can go ahead and move on to 11. We're going to jump ahead. And we're going to take a look at this card sort because you may have struggled or might have been confused with some of the different examples. So I'm going to click on this one. So it says match each scenario with the appropriate teal and orange card from the probability scale. So I'm going to go ahead and line these up and kind of organize my thinking. So I'm almost going to do it like a number line. So I'm going to have impossible over on this end. I'm going to have certain over this end. I'll have equally likely in the middle, less likely between impossible and equally likely, and then more likely right here. Then I'm going to put all these word ones together. I did not mean to do that. All the orange ones over here, just so I can organize my thoughts. So now the first thing I need to do is match these orange ones to the teal ones. So it says probability of 0%. So that is going to be matched up with impossible. Next, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at probability of 1. That is going to be certain. Probability is half. So that means it's equally as likely, right? So maybe if the spinner was half red and half blue. More likely would be a probability in between half and 1. So this might be kind of like the spinner with the 75% where it's red, right? It's more likely that it's going to land on red. And then less likely is going to be in between 0 and half. So less than 50%, but greater than 0. Now I have some different examples that I also need to match with these different titles. So you will get wet if you jump in a pool. So that's certain, right? If you jump into your pool or jump into a great pool at a nice hotel, right? You are going to get wet. A coin will land heads up on the next toss. So this is equally likely because a coin only has two sides. You either can get a heads or you can get a tails. There's only two options, so it's a 50-50% chance. It will rain in the Sahara Desert on June 31st. So this one's kind of tricky. You have to remember that there's no such date as June 31st. So this is impossible. The first word in a book will start with the letter L. So there are 26 alphabet letters, right? And one of them is L, and all of the letters have the same probability of being chosen, 1 in 26. So I would say that this is less likely. Now, we have, you will see a flying pig tomorrow. I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe in some alternate universe or in a great book that you're reading, but in Oakland, California, it is impossible that we'll see a flying pig tomorrow. And the last one, a cube with 6 faces numbered 1 through 6 will land on a 3 on the next roll. Again, every single number appears once, and a 3 is 1 out of the 6 different options. So that's also less likely. So hopefully that was a good review for everyone. It was a good review for me. And again, some of these have more examples than others, but that's totally okay. Anyways, that's all I wanted to go over for today. Next, you will be doing some workbook assignments. Please remember to be using complete sentences as if you were in school. Again, this will help you prepare for the 8th grade and further in high school. I miss you all a lot and hope to see you soon. Bye. Thank you.